In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 10 hobbies for busy people. Let's get right into it. Okay, if you're coming from my Aura Ring video, yes, I'm sitting in the same exact spot, wearing the same exact thing. I have just been filming back to back because this week we've had rain for 48 hours plus straight, and this is the brightest part of my house, so I'm just cranking out all my videos at the same time. But anyway, these hobbies that I'll be talking about in today's video are very low maintenance, they're very easy to do, and they can start at just 10 minutes of practice per day. And yes, you do have 10 minutes a day to spend on your joys, but they are also very buildable. So you can start at 10 minutes as a general practice to get started, and then you can build from there to a time length that is beneficial to you. But like I said, you can start really simple with these, and I think it's going to be perfect for people who are really busy, who feel like they only have 10 minutes a day or only 10 minutes a week to get started. The first thing that I have is, of course, my personal favorite hobby, that is reading. You can read for 10 minutes a day. That's exactly what I do, and that's exactly what I do particularly on busy days. I very recently posted a YouTube short where I mentioned that I have been in a really busy season and I have only been able to read for 10 minutes a day, but I have been prioritizing that reading session for 10 minutes a day to ensure that I am prioritizing 10 minutes of a little joy to myself. So that is me practicing what I preach, and I do think that reading 10 minutes or reading a chapter a day is going to definitely build, because again, coming from experience, I built from that 10 minutes of reading per day practice, and now I read for long stretches. The next hobby is gaming. Now a lot of people feel like if you're getting into the gaming world, you need to be sitting down for 4 hours at a time playing a game, and I just don't think that that's the case anymore. It used to be that way, and it used to be a deterrent for me, actually. I'm someone that comes from a big gaming background. I have played games my entire life. I come from a family where we all play games a lot, and so I have had experience of just sitting around at a TV screen for hours at a time playing games. But nowadays, there are a lot of really solid, good, high quality games that are very low maintenance, very cozy, and very easy to get into. If you have any requests, let me know in the comment section. But I will recommend Cozy K, who is another YouTuber, and she plays a lot of these types of games, and you can play them for 10 minutes at a time. Phone games, by the way, you can definitely play at 10 minutes at a time because those are kind of structured and built to be played for short periods of time. So yeah, it's definitely doable, and you can build from there. Okay, the next hobby is coloring. Now, coloring in specific, not drawing or, painting or anything like that. You all know that that's one of my personal hobbies, but it does take a good amount of time. And to be honest with you, it's one of those hobbies that I don't practice often because it does take a little bit longer than my other hobbies. But coloring is special because all you need to do is get yourself a coloring book, get yourself a coloring toolkit like utensils, and just color. The art part, the drawing part, the doodling part is already done for you, and all you have to do is disappear into your coloring, and you can do that for 10 minutes at a time as well. This is one that I feel like people will very easily slip into longer periods of time, so this is an easy and accessible one, I feel. And it's really relaxing. It's really therapeutic. I promise you that. People might think it's silly at first, but I have tried it before and it is very therapeutic. Another hobby, there's a few clustered into one here: journaling, junk journaling, and scrapbooking. So this might seem high maintenance because I was just talking about doodling, drawing, all of that good stuff, but you can start really small here. So for journaling in particular, you can start small by using like one prompt a day. Just find a prompt on my social media, I have tons of them, and answer it. And that can be your 10 minutes of journaling a day. You can do something very simple as reflecting, like what did you do in the day? And that can be a one-liner that takes less than 10 minutes out of the day. Now, junk journaling. I have been seeing a lot of people online do junk journaling and scrapbooking at a very low maintenance level. Again, this is something that I've learned from when I was younger that is very high maintenance. You have to sit down for an hour and, gather all of your materials and come up with an idea and then sit down and create your spread. But nowadays, it doesn't have to be all of that. You can make a diary entry and you can put some stickers around it. You can put little sticky notes, whatever it may be, but it can be 10 minutes or less. I definitely recommend you go on like YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, or TikTok and look up some of these spreads that people have done, because they are simpler than you would expect. And your junk journal doesn't have to be a diary. It can be something that's very themed and curated. So for example, say you went to the movies, you can stick in your movie ticket, you can write about what the movie you saw, you can write your feelings about it, you can take some pictures, print it out, put it into the book, and there you go, you have a spread. And that can be done in 10 minutes. Okay, the next thing is writing. Writing doesn't need to be a novel every single time that you sit down to write. And if you are a writer, if you do really enjoy writing, I highly recommend you either get one of those books that has prompts already filled into it, or just get a blank journal and then go searching online for writing prompts. They can be very simple, they can be very silly. I used to do this all the time because I actually went to school for creative writing. I would get books like this all the time, and I would just pick a silly little prompt and I would write for 5 to 10 minutes, and that was it. And I felt really fulfilled and really happy after I did that, because it let my creative juices flow, and that's something that is important and enjoyable for me. So if it's enjoyable for you as well, I highly recommend you try that. Okay, the next thing is to learn new words. I used to do this thing where I had the dictionary downloaded on my phone, just the dictionary app, and I would go in, and I don't know if they do it anymore. Let me know if they do though. They would have a word of the day on the homepage of the dictionary app, like the Oxford Dictionary app, whatever it may be. And I would just go in every single day. I would read the word of the day, look at the definition, and that was that. That takes less than 10 minutes. I think it takes less than 5 minutes, to be honest with you, but it does engage your brain and it is interesting. And if you're someone that loves words, that is definitely a hobby in my opinion. You'll be surprised at the things that you learn by just reading a new word a day, and you're having conversations and those words will just pop up. It's something that will be fulfilling, not just in the moment of, but later on as well, if that makes sense. Okay, the next hobby is puzzles and crossword puzzles. Now I know this one probably will take longer than 10 minutes, especially the type of puzzle that you end up going with. But there's been practices in the past, and this is probably like a skit or a funny thing, but I have seen crossword puzzles in the bathroom before. So if we can do a crossword puzzle while we're using the bathroom, I'm pretty sure we can do a crossword puzzle, or at least a part of a crossword puzzle, in 10 minutes or less. So I know that's a strange example, but it's an example nonetheless. So I do recommend it for people who like puzzles. I do consider it something as a very low maintenance, really quick activity, because if you also look at another example of newspapers, I don't know if people get newspapers anymore, but in the newspaper, there used to be a crossword puzzle at the back of it, and you would just very casually do that on a Sunday morning. So I do think it's a low maintenance one, actually, and it can definitely build. There are books still out there. I went to Barnes & Noble recently, actually, and I saw a whole section, and it really threw me back because I used to work at Barnes & Noble, and there used to be a puzzle and crossword whole like shelf. And I haven't seen that in a long time, so to see it come back again was actually really cool. Okay, anyway, the next hobby is body movement. Now, we're talking about 10 minutes or less. That is buildable. So what I have in particular is walking, yoga, and meditation. These can be done in 10 minutes or less. You can go outside and walk around the block. You can walk on a walking pad like I do. You can jump on the treadmill for 10 minutes. You can do yoga at 10 minutes or less. I used to do yoga with Adrienne, and I know she's very, very popular, so I know a lot of people know about her, but she has playlists for yoga sessions that are 10 minutes or less. So if Yoga with Adrienne can come up with something like that, you can definitely find it and practice it as well. And then of course, meditation. Meditation, I think there are meditation apps. Even in the Fitbit app, there are meditation sessions. In the Aura app, there are meditation sessions, and you can filter them by time, so you can find some that are 10 minutes or less. We're getting down to the end of it. The next one is bird watching. This might sound boring, this might sound lame to some people, but I personally think, and maybe this is just me becoming a homeowner and like moving out of the city, but I think this is so fun to do. Every once in a while, what I will do is sit out in my backyard on the deck, and I will just sit and listen to the birds. I love hearing the different songs that these birds have, and whenever I've come to a point where I can distinguish if a new bird is in my backyard. And when I do hear a different song, I pull out an app called Merlin, and it's a free app, and I believe it was built by a university that studies ornithology. I think I'm saying that right, but they study birds essentially, and the app is really well built. You just press a button and it will listen to the song. Like, it will turn on like your mic on your phone, and you can listen to the bird song, or the app will listen to the bird song, and it will know exactly what bird it is because you just put in your location, like if you're on the northeast side of America and stuff like that. It will know the bird, and it will actually give you a database of examples so that you can know for sure that's the bird that you're hearing, and then you can keep a log of it in your phone. I just think this is the coolest thing, and I actually have a log of birds that I have discovered, not just in my backyard, but when I'm out and about. I've even used the Merlin app when I've gone traveling across the country. I think it's cool, and it definitely can be done in 10 minutes or less. And then the last thing is low-level gardening. So I don't mean a massive garden. I don't mean a garden that I have in my backyard even. I'm talking about something very low maintenance, and I do recommend that you start low maintenance if you're gardening for the very first time and you want to eventually build it up to something larger, like what I'm talking about. But what I mean by low level is keeping a basil in your kitchen, or keeping several herbs in your kitchen. Herbs are a really great way to start. You just get the herb when it's a little baby sprout, and they grow really easily. You can even grow things like peppers and tomatoes in your house. Those I do think are very easy to grow as well. But stick to one, or stick to 1 to 3. Keep them in your kitchen so that you can keep an eye on them. And this becomes a 10-minute or less practice, because all you do pretty much every day is take a look at it, water it, just make sure that it's in a sunny spot, and that's pretty much it. And the rest of the work happens when you're not doing anything. And so it's very, very low maintenance, very easy to do. It's probably one of the lowest maintenance ones on the list. And it is the last one on my list. We did go through 10 items in just this short period of time. So I hope these were interesting. I hope something stuck out to you. Once again, let me know if anything did stick out to you, or if you share any of these hobbies that are mentioned on the list. I know a lot of y'all are readers, so I'm glad to hear it. I'm so happy that there are a bunch of readers that watch my channel. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you in next week's video.